In the Black Eye. In the Black Eye by Manziel. 1. The similarities between prison and public school for the black student are uncanny. 3 elements play a large part in the similarities, as well as the unspoken connection between the two. The 3 elements include structure, societal culture, and psychological effects that the students are left with for life. The 3 elements have assisted in the development of a slippery slope that is the connection between prison and public school for black students. The similar structure between prison and public school hasn't been debated very much, if at all. When they are put in comparison, the two may appear to differentiate. However, when held under closer and more thorough investigation, the two hardly are different. When examined, the authoritative structure is different. When examined, the authoritative structure is visibly identical. Authoritative structure similarities include the principal being the equivalent to that of a warden in a prison, administration being the equivalent to officers, the school board being the equivalent to the judicial system and courts, yard time being the equivalent to PE and recess. Along with the previous mentioned similarities, both prisons and schools can and are used for the elimination of dissent, which will be further discussed in examining the psychological effects of public school and black students. Everything that students and inmates do is given a set time, including walking and eating, as well as using the restroom. Anyone caught disobeying these guidelines can be punished. When the factors are evaluated, it doesn't take a keen eye to establish an acknowledgement over these identical features. 3. Societal culture plays a key role in the comparison between school and prison, from cliques to school to cliques in prison, from bullying in school to bullying in prison, from pecking orders in school to pecking orders in prison. And the societal culture is definitely similar. I'm convinced that no snitching started in school before it became a motto in prison. The societal culture of school and prison is an easy comparison due to lack of differences. 4. The psychological effects of prison can leave an impression on an inmate or former inmate for life. The psychological effects of school can leave an impression on a black student or former black student. Certain penalization tactics used in school share a deep resemblance to that of those used in prison. Such tactics include isolation, used in the form of in-school suspension, ISS, out-of-school suspension, OSS, and expulsion. Both in school and in prison, isolation has proven to take a psychological toll on one's being isolated. Studies have shown that evidently black students are given ISS, OSS, and expelled more often than others. Studies also show that a black student is more likely to receive a punishment, although they don't always deserve it. It is known that the psychological effects of isolation include loneliness, melancholy, depression, and deterioration of the mind. This means black students are often subjected to the harsh treatment of prison daily. As for the elimination of dissent, it is often taught and fostered, much like racism in schools. This, like many of the previous mentioned, can affect and infect one psychologically, flooding the subconscious and building up. 5. In conclusion, when assessed, public school is essentially prison when viewed from the eyes of black students. School has been proven to be structured in a prison-like manner. School societal culture has proven to resemble that seen in prison. Psychological effects have proven worthy of counting as one of the elements that cause black students to not only feel like they are in prison for 20 to 40 hours a week, but silently groomed and transitioned to become accustomed to the conditions of prison, to making it okay to feel like that all the time when they are actually in prison. This no longer discourages, but encourages black students and former students to go to prison, because by the time they get to prison, they are used to it, and therefore don't mind returning. We wonder why black people return to prison the most, and school is the answer. Prison has arguably been compared to slavery time and time again. Get the picture?